It's scary when right before you come on, the last thing they tell you is keep it short. That's always really encouraging when you go up to talk to some people. But our mission's simple. We're here to talk about what's going to happen later today. We'll have a longer session. We'll talk more into this. But it's really a challenge that I took upon myself as soon as I took the position I have right now, and it's based on a simple vision that if we all work together in Eastern Kentucky, that Kentucky will be the leading aerospace manufacturing state in the United States of America. It's that simple. And we can do it. We absolutely can do it. You know, when I first came and I was president of Kentucky Power, my first day on the job I was in good old Hazard. Betsy and Trish out there somewhere. Good old Hazard. We're sitting there at a table and I said, look, we all know the problems of Eastern Kentucky. We don't want to sit there and admire problems anymore. We want solutions. How are we going to move forward? And that's what I found out about the best kept secret in Eastern Kentucky and Kentucky as a whole. It's the workforce that we have here, the skilled, available workforce. And across the country, they don't know about that. They think it's all coal. They haven't thought about the diversification of what we can do in Eastern Kentucky. So as I learned more in the workforce studies that One East Kentucky, Ashland Alliance, all of our economic development partners have helped put together, I learned that we have a story that we have to tell. And I immediately sat there and I thought of the Homer Hickam story in Rocket Boys or October Sky that you might have heard of. A kid in a coal mine that wanted to do something different, that wanted to have another option, and he saw Sputnik come across the October sky. He said, I can do something different. He started playing with rockets. And I think everyone knows he grew up and became a NASA engineer. That's what we can do here, because our workforce has the deductive reasoning, the analytical skills, and really the number one skill you need in aerospace is machine fabrication, machinist, metal fabricationers. And we have 8 times the national average in that. So we took that little spark, that little fact that we have, and I said, we've got to put this on steroids. We got to go to every mountaintop across the world and scream this and make sure everybody knows it. We're currently actually number 2, only behind the state of Washington in aerospace manufacturing. We talked to 27 companies, all the leaders in aerospace. None of them knew where Kentucky was in that situation. They didn't know we were number 2. We've got to be proud. We've got to scream and shout and be aggressive and tell people where we are. Every state's having problems with labor force. We don't have that. We have the available workforce. We have the skills. So we went to, when I said, here's the idea, we need to take this national, the first thing everyone told me was, well, you need to go talk to Congressman Rogers. You need to get this. This lines up perfectly with the SOAR goal and the SOAR blueprint, and it does fit in there perfectly. So we took our trip to Washington. The congressman sat there and he heard our story, you know, listened the whole time without saying a word. I didn't know if I was going to get and leave the office and never get a word from him or not. You know, some of us have been in that situation. When I was done, he looked at me and he said, you know what? I remember Sputnik, because I was a radio DJ, and I saw that, and I quit my job, enrolled at the University of Kentucky in physics, because I wanted to work at NASA. I was inspired. I wanted to get into aerospace. He said, now there was some math involved and some science, so I ended up not going full bore on that one, but I've always been a supporter. And from that moment forward, Governor Bevin, Senator McConnell, all of the leaders in Kentucky as a whole have really been behind this. I mean, all the way to we took a delegation with Craig Bouchard from Brady Industries, Tim Gibbs from Ashland Alliance, and Amanda and Chuck Sexton. The governor joined us. People we'll talk to later today all sat with all the leaders of aerospace at the Paris Air Show where all the business is done. And as we'll talk about later, the common theme among the CEOs were, oh, we didn't even think about Kentucky. But you're here with your governor, with your economic development teams, with your energy partner, and with Brady Industries, a new company that said, we're moving here because the environment is strong. That's the only state delegation that's brought that. You weren't on the radar when you came here. You're at the top of the radar now, and we're interested in Eastern Kentucky. So our part is, let's not mess this up. We got to all work together, be rowing the same direction. There is going to be a renaissance in the next year and a half. It's happening somewhere. Aerospace companies don't want to be on the West Coast anymore. They're going somewhere. We need to have a big sign that we're open for business and they're going to come here. Our partner in Brady Industries was a great partner because they supply the aluminum that a lot of these companies need. But it's not just about Ashland, it's about all of Eastern Kentucky, all the way down, all the way through. And it's not about borders. I'm Kentucky Power. I have a certain territory that I'm responsible for. Morehead State's not in my territory. I talked about Morehead State probably as much as anything else when I was in Paris talking to those companies, because lines don't matter in this fight. We are Eastern Kentucky as a whole, and things will cluster if we work to get it there. So hopefully you'll come this afternoon. Here we have a lot to talk about. Some members from Brady are there and the people that were in Paris. We can do this. We can be number one. We need to seize upon this now. And that takes all of us coming together to do that. And we'll turn this around and get out of the cycle that we've been in. And we'll be the leader in the country, and everyone will be looking to us. So please join me in doing that. Look forward to talking to you.